Hey, welcome to another edition of Blue Jay Banner Today. I'm Tim Kruger. It is episode 25 already. So thank you very much for all the support. We really appreciate it. And make sure and check out our sponsor down there, Infusion Brewing Company. Go to infusionbrewing.com. Check out all they have to offer. They have a great tasting room where you can go and try out all their beers. Again, going to highly recommend the Dill Pickle. All right. It's a great beer, and I think you'll like it here in the fall season. Uh, Today we're gonna have a little different show. So, um, we have there was sent out about a week or so ago an email um, from Marcus Blossum, athletic director at Creighton. And it's kind of going called the Blue Jay Beat, and he's kind of going to update things as they move along once a month. And so we thought it'd be a good time to kind of, for those of you who didn't see it or didn't get it, kind of let you know what was in the email and kind of talk about how the athletic program is, all the athletic programs are going, what's going on with them, especially the NIL, the revenue sharing, all of that. And he has some great information. So I thought I'd share a lot of that with you today. The main focus of the email is to update everyone on the NCAA versus House settlement. Now, that settlement went into effect on June 6th, and Creighton began this on July 28th. They wrote out the first checks to student athletes on that date. What that basically is as part of the settlement, the school can now share revenue directly with the student athletes. It doesn't have to go through NIL anymore. That there's a revenue sharing, so to speak. So all the revenue the athletic department takes in, they can share with the student athletes. As part of the settlement, the College Sports Commission was formed. Now, basically, that's just the conferences that signed on to this are doing that. They will also kind of monitor third-party name, image, and likeness. So these bigger contracts that student athletes sign with a big company or so forth, this commission is also going to regulate those. So they have to get kind of going through a clearinghouse, so to speak. The littler contracts, I don't know how it all works, and we plan to have somebody on here to talk more definitively about NIL in the future. But I think the smaller contracts don't fall into that category. It's just the larger contracts. So the funds where they share with the student athletes, they come from ticket sales, media rights, obviously, is the big one, scholarships, royalties, or excuse me, not scholarships, sponsorships, royalties, private donation, and NCAA conference distribution. So when the NCAA distributes money to a conference, a lot of that comes from the one we can most likely think of is the NCAA basketball tournament. Majority of the revenue sharing will support our men's basketball program. That's no secret. And Marcus's goal is to have Creighton at the top of the Big East, or at near the top of the Big East as far as the money that they share with the men's basketball players. So to keep that program strong, and obviously it's the big cash cow at Creighton. There's no question about it. It had a strong start to the first season under this revenue sharing proposal, basically through ticket sales, sponsorships, and private donations. Now, when you look at the tickets so far, the men's basketball program is 95% renewal. Renewal rate is 95%. That's one of the tops in the country, which is outstanding. Women's volleyball is at 90, men's soccer is at 87. If there is a sport that's down a little bit, it's women's basketball. That's below 80%. So, um, there was a big pitch there to, get women's season tickets up, uh, do everything you can to support the team. The team's reached the NCAA tournament 4 years in a row, and they want to build off momentum off that. Philanthropic giving is a big part of this as well. Obviously, just people donating money to Creighton for whatever reason. A lot of people. I was at the baseball when they put the baseball practice field in. There were a lot of big donors there. I know some of them, and they were all there. Just they donated money to the project. To offer more flexibility for donors, they've expanded and redefined our sports-specific and general operations fund. You can now direct contributions to sport-specific excellence funds in addition giving to current sports. So that, if you want to donate more, obviously we contact the athletic department. Corporate sponsorships are vital, and I think that's the recent hirings in the department are targeted toward that, to get more corporate sponsorships. And you'll see, there'll be a beer that'll be I imagine there'll be a beer that'll be sponsors Creighton. There'll be soft drinks. There'll be food. There'll be all kinds of things. Apparel. There'll be all kinds of deals. And that's going to be more money that can go into the coffers to help split up. NCAA tournament, and this is not a shocker, and we've talked about this many times, how the NCAA tournament, how Creighton's basketball program has helped the university overall with enrollment. And the NCAA tournament appearances, especially men's basketball, carry significant financial benefits. And we've talked about those. Conference distributions are based on the number of games played, with additional incentives for schools that advance. The NCAA now provides payments for women's basketball participation as well. So that's another revenue stream that'll be flowing into the athletic department. They've grown revenues in other key areas, royalties and license. That's huge. Like, if you make a shirt like this, you've got to get the license to put the Creighton logo on, and it's not cheap. Facility rentals, special events, neutral site games, multi-team events, the basketball one, obviously. That's a big revenue driver. So over the next 10 years, the NCAA and conferences will pay $2.78 billion back to student athletes who competed from 2016 to the present. So that's a huge chunk of money. These payments stem from the court ruling on NIL rights and so forth. So to fund this, member institutions, including Creighton, will receive reduced NCAA distributions because the NCAA's got to come up with this money. So to make up for that, Creighton's going to be tightening their budget, prioritizing strategic investments, to absorb the financial impact of this. And that's not, obviously that's not a big shocker as well. Scholarship limits. We talked a little bit about this in basketball. There's not any scholarship limits anymore. They're being replaced by roster limits, allowing the programs to offer as many scholarships as they want. So current student athletes will be protected during a phase-in period. Current will manage this transition carefully, team by team basis. So, some teams, I'm sure, with, for instance, one that jumps out at me is baseball. They were always a small amount of scholarships. Now they can offer more. The problem is those rosters are awfully big in baseball. They're 35, 40 players. So that's, I'm sure, one thing that they're going to look at. The sports commission that's created as part of this settlement created NIL Go, a clearinghouse for third-party NIL payments. And this is something we talked about earlier. Anything over $600. So, we've in the past had payments larger than that. So apparently ours will have to go through this clearinghouse from now on. This is to ensure these payments are valid business purposes and related to promotion or entertainment goods, services at a fair market value. All deals must be disclosed within a 5 business day period, and failure to do so could result in student athletes ineligibility. Creighton's done a really good job with that. I know when we've a little bit of NIL that we have done at Blue Jay Banner with student athletes, the athletes had to disclose it right away, and we had to fill out a form, and they had to send it to student athletes. They had to sign it, had to go in, had to get approved. It was, and so they've always had a great deal at Creighton with the educational part of this, and sitting student athletes down and running them through seminars on everything NIL and this revenue sharing and so forth. So they'll be up to date as far as what they need to do in the future. Then he made this statement: Creighton Athletics is guided by the highest standards of our Jesuit Catholic mission, and the legacy of Creighton's been built on that. And we're deeply grateful to student athletes, coaches, staff, and obviously all the boosters for creating a program we're proud of, and we aim to keep this model strong and be at the top of the Big East. And obviously, the support of donors is huge. And basically, the rest of the email was just, outlining ways that donors can contribute, ticket sales, philanthropy, if they're run a big corporation with sponsorships, those types of things. And I know the fan base is getting a little weary of, hey, we've been drained. and I know everybody, I feel that way. They just keep coming and wanting more and more and more and more and more. But, the decision has to be made. Do we want to continue on the path of being one of the top basketball schools in the country or not? And if we want to, we're going to have to generate this money. And this NCAA settlement, as Marcus outlined, that money is not going to come so much from the NCAA because they've got to pay that $2.7 billion out. So, budgets have to be trimmed back, and they've got to look for other income to come in. So I just thought I'd share that with us, with everybody out there. Now that we've got this base out there and you've heard about this and you have questions, put them in the comments or send us an email at bluejbanner@gmail.com. You can send it to us as a DM on Twitter as well, at our Twitter account, BlueJayBanner. And you can post them on the comments here in the YouTube section. So all different ways that you can post the comments. And then in the near future, we'll get Marcus on here on one of our shows. And maybe if you've got a bunch of questions, we can just ask Marcus about them. Hey, here's the questions that are coming up. So it's, this is what it's come to once the NIL door got open. With the incredible, money that came in, and this is where we're at. Luckily, Creighton got on board very early in the whole process and got way ahead of the game. Unlike school that jumps in mind, Villanova, unlike Seton Hall, did not get on top of NIL right away, and that really hurt them. And you can see how Villanova has taken a nosedive. All their programs really have. Seton Hall the same way. They're not as good in baseball as they were. Certainly not as good in basketball as they were. So, if we want to remain at the top, and let's face it, there's a lot of money in Omaha. There is. And I think Creighton's done a great job of harvesting that. Even you go to the big school in Nebraska. Yeah, they've got way more donors and way more fans and way more ways to get money, but they also have football. And Creighton was way ahead of Nebraska. Nebraska took a beating there from their fans, basically, that they did not jump aboard the NIL movement as quickly as possible. That's my understanding. I could be totally wrong on that, but that's what I was told. Now it has taken off at Nebraska. So I think you're going to see, That's why you're seeing the uptick in football, uptick in basketball. Volleyball stayed at a very, very high level, and they're able to get their athletes. So it's all over the board. It's all across the country. And if you want to compete, that's the way it's going to be. And that's why ticket prices go up and so on and so forth. But at any rate, we will get Marcus on. We also want to we had a gentleman about, gosh, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, we had him on. He was associated with Creighton somehow, but he was an NIL expert. He was outstanding. And we're going to effort to get him back on again, too, on one of our shows. So, hey, thanks for joining a little shortened version today. Tomorrow, number 4 of Random J of the Week. Can't wait to do that. It's a show. If you followed Creighton basketball for 25 years, you got to watch our shows on this because you will really enjoy them. Guess along with the contestants, and then also at the end listen to the conversation about those athletes. Put your comments down below. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Have a great day, and go Jays.